Happy Hump Day, Florida State, and welcome to FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Braden Robinson.
And I'm student meteorologist Donovan Wiseman. I hope you're all having a good homecoming week out there on the FSU campus. Braden, we've got a lot going on this week.
We do, and we've already had a lot going on with Spirit Night. We had Big Sean on Sunday, but starting tomorrow, we have Renegade Recess, which is a really cool opportunity for FSU to reach out to the community, do some activities with some elementary and middle school students. A lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, definitely a really fun event. Last night was skit night at Ruby Diamond Auditorium. Students here and organizations put on different skits in order to raise homecoming points. So a lot going on. Of course, we have Powwow Friday. Is that right?
Absolutely. Powwow. Keenan Thompson, I believe, opened by Daniel Joss. So Saturday Night Live crew coming over to Florida State, kind of taking over a little bit. Some of you may remember Keenan from back in the 90s, the Nickelodeon show Keenan and Kel. I used to watch that all the time.
Oh, me too, man, me too. And then, of course, Saturday is the big day. That'll be the homecoming game versus Virginia. We're expecting pretty good weather for that day also.
We are. Maybe some rain for your evening, so maybe on your commute home after the game you might see some rain. But hopefully we'll be celebrating a Florida State victory. But it doesn't end there. Tuesday, Veterans Day.
That's right, Tuesday, Veterans Day. I mean, what do you think you're going to do for Veterans Day?
Well, I haven't really decided yet. I know the North Florida Fair is in town, so I might be heading out to that starting this Friday. But we have a quick overview. Let's get into the weather. So what do you got for us, Donovan?
We do. This is what we're going to be talking about tonight. We got those rain showers possibly coming in tomorrow. Our temperatures will be cooling. It's going to be a beautiful homecoming game, just as we talked about, though. So a lot of good things to talk about this evening. Our satellite and radar is just showing where that moisture might be coming in. You see these are remnants of Tropical Storm Vance. This is what could be moving in our area. It's affecting everywhere from Texas all the way to the northeast, so there is a good chance of rain. Right now we're keeping it pretty low for Tallahassee. For tonight, no rain absolutely at all. 54 degrees here in Tallahassee is what we're forecasting. It should be a mild night, a little cooler, but not as cool as what we've seen over the past few days, so this might feel like a warm-up for you. And for tomorrow, we have those chances of showers, of course. Renegade Recess, 4:30 p.m. Be sure to get out and check that out. A lot of good things going on here this week, Braden.
Yeah, and we're talking about homecoming, fun stuff, but we're not just about football. We have a lot of other sports going on in the ACC world here at Florida State. So what do we got?
That's right. We've got women's soccer. They're actually up in Greensboro this weekend, starting Friday, for that ACC tournament. And then how about this basketball season starting off?
Yeah, we had a good win against Embry-Riddle on Monday, but this Sunday, women's basketball going to be starting out versus Faulkner in the Civic Center, which after those renovations has been looking beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. And then actually on Monday, I believe the men are going to be playing again, another exhibition game. Of course, volleyball's doing well. We've got I believe it's Virginia on Friday.
Virginia on Friday, so we got fun stuff, really high ranked in all these sports. Volleyball top 4, soccer top 4, basketball not too high, but that's all right. We might get up there.
We might. We do play in a tough conference. The SEC is very competitive with basketball, women's and men's, but I'm feeling pretty good about this season.
Yeah, so am I. So let's bring it back to the weather. We got Jake out for your first local forecast. So Jake, that moisture, will it come down to us?
Yeah, guys, we will be expecting to see some more moisture in the coming days, especially associated with Vance. Really, this the stalled front pulling moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico associated with Vance. But right now, not much going on around Tallahassee today. We did see some high-level clouds developing overall to the west of east of the Big Bend, excuse me. And that's going to be the trend as this stationary front starts to become more mobile and will move through the region in the next few days. But right now, things are pretty warm today. Currently, we're sitting about 73 at Tallahassee, so a little bit warmer than we've noticed over the past, couple of weeks. And things are going back down again coming into the weekend. We didn't see a lot of cloud cover today, but also high pressure sitting off towards the east has been bringing us some southerly flow coming right out. Can't see it very well right now, but earlier readings indicated we did have this clockwise wind flow bringing us some moisture from the Gulf and keeping our temperatures, the high pressure, really keeping things clear and warming things up. And this is a fantastic image. The green on this imagery here is the water vapor or moisture in the air off to our west. So this is all associated with Vance right now being pulled off, streaming into our region all the way down from Texas all the way up to really the northeast, New York even seeing some of the moisture up there too. So this big plume of moisture all over. We see some of the orange over there off towards the Atlantic, that is our drier conditions. Not really much of a player right now, but high pressure will move off. We're going to see some chances of rain as this front moves in. We're still going to have some onshore flow, which will provide us with chances for rain, but moving into Friday, high pressure will be setting in off towards the west, and then homecoming is going to be the big story. Powwow Friday night, and then like they said earlier, we're going to have the football game on Saturday, so stay tuned. We will be getting to that forecast in just a moment, but for the beach, things are going to be looking pretty nice. We still have northwesterlies 10 to 15 miles per hour, so UV index is at 11 right now, so still got a high UV index. Got to keep our eyes on that, but for tonight, things are going to be clear and pretty wonderful. South-southeast winds right now, like I said, coming off the Gulf, but 50s, mid-50s all around the board is really what we're noticing. In a few days, we will see these temps go down overnight, but right now, mid-50s, pretty seasonable considering we're still in November, excuse me, but mid-80s for tomorrow. Things are going to be still pretty warm. Cold front hasn't come through quite yet, so chances of rain are going to be going up, and our temperatures are still going to be mid-80s. This is actually a little warmer than we've seen today, but the winds are going to be calm. Not a big player tomorrow, but tomorrow, renegade recess at 4:30. We will have our forecast for that later on as well. But for the 7-day, as you can see, Thursday, 83 degrees, and then things cooling down again as we move with another cold front moving into Friday. But for now, we're going to spread things out to the southeast with Braden. Braden, what can you tell us?
Well, you know, Jake, we are really going to start talking about that moisture which is moving into this area. Here's where your stationary front is right there, and you could see the cooler temperatures behind it. Upper 50s out in Memphis, Little Rock, Shreveport, Dallas, out into Abilene, mid to upper 50s, lower 60s in some places. But really, this rain-cooled air from all this moisture is what's been controlling it. But back down in Tallahassee, lower 70s, upper 60s out in Jacksonville, and mid 60s into Georgia. But that's what we're seeing. And as that continues, again, you could see this nice little clockwise flow, a little more defined before, but right there up to the north, New Orleans, and then Atlanta, back to the east with that high pressure system sitting right off the coast, just out by North Carolina, but winds behind the front starting to make their way in from the north, bringing those cooler temperatures. Relative humidity, this is a great picture, again, showing the moisture content. Relative humidity of 96% in Shreveport. Pretty good chance that it's about to rain down there, maybe already be raining. But right here, you can see the deep moisture out into Mexico, right on the edge of your screen, making its way in. And that is that remnants of Vance, which is really just being sucked in by that cold front. And right behind that front, again at the corner of your screen, dry conditions, very dry conditions. So expect that into Friday before we increase our rain chances for the game back into Saturday. Again, this wonderful image of the water vapor imagery showing all the moisture from the south just making its way in, taking over the southeast. This isn't really just a Tallahassee event. There's going to be rain everywhere. In the Tallahassee, moisture just starting to creep its way in, but Texas, Arkansas, out into Louisiana, been able to see it for a while. Tupelo, I know, is seeing a couple showers right now. And you could see that just starting to dissipate and make their way into Tupelo again. Little Rock, Shreveport, heavier showers down into southeast Texas, making their way into western Illinois. But just this blanket of rain is going to continue and make its way into our area over the next couple days. So here's the futurecast rainfall, showing those numbers really go up, especially into Shreveport, reaching an inch, but really into southern Texas, big, maybe 3 to 4 inches of rain. So expect that. Not as much here, but we're still going to get that rain. A light to moderate chop out on the water tomorrow. Your northwest winds 10 to 15 knots. May see a shower. Tonight, 56 in Tallahassee, down to the lower 70s in Miami and Key West. But into tomorrow, expect those mid-80s, upper 70s as you make your way up north, and even upper 60s out into Tupelo and to Atlanta. But overall, we are looking pretty nice. So let's go ahead and head to the past.
Yeah, let's talk about, we had Election Day yesterday, so this is pretty relevant. 1894 in Connecticut, they saw a foot of wet snow on their Election Day this day over 100 years ago, and 60 miles per hour gusts of wind.
Yeah, definitely not the best time to go out voting. They might have voted on a different day. Maybe voting got extended. But with an inch of snow, or a foot of snow, I'm sorry, you're not going to really want to get that too much.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. I would be sitting inside if it was falling a foot of snow and 60-mile-per-hour winds. But let's bring it back not too long ago here in our area in the Panhandle in southeast Alabama. We had those storms move in 2002 on this day. That spurred a lot of tornado activity.
And you know, with that, there was severe weather that made its way into central Florida with that as well, and kind of reminiscent of the 1998 severe weather that kind of ripped through central Florida. But let's stop talking about Florida. Let's zoom out a little bit. Talk about the rest of the nation. What's going on over there?
Yeah, let's take a look around here. You see, again, Tallahassee, we're at 73. Most of the southeast is pretty consistent with the 70s and upper 60s. But you notice up there in Minneapolis, up there you see that dark blue. That's what catches my eye. 42 degrees up there about right now. So they're seeing some really cold temperatures, probably experiencing some freezing, possible snowfall up that way. Now, this is just showing the atmosphere above the United States, and we've been talking about this. This is associated with Vance. That's just extending all the way up from Texas to the northeast. We are, again, expecting to see some precipitation from that. Nothing too bad, but we are going to get a little bit wet here during our homecoming week, and we're just zooming in on that here in Texas. You can see San Antonio is just right in the middle of this whole cell here, and it's moving up through Dallas, northern Louisiana, up that way. But a little bit of that is going to make its way through the Panhandle. We don't expect it to stay long. In fact, on Friday, we may have even lower chances of rain. Again, just following that track, it's going to be hitting central Tennessee, up through Frankfort, Kentucky, into West Virginia, all the way through some major cities in the Northeast. So they're going to be getting a little wet up there. Definitely, if you know people up there, remind them to bring an umbrella if they're out and about. And this is looking at some other moisture that's going on in the country. You see up here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, they're seeing a little bit of rainfall. That's moving relatively quick out of there as well, across the Great Lakes, possibly up into Canada. Again, we're staying dry here, at least for the time being, and we'll come back to that more in just a second. This is also going on out in Seattle. Of course, they're always getting rain. I feel like that's what they're known for. That's their reputation. So they're getting some today, but that's nothing really to talk about. This is what we're talking about as far as rainfall across the country. You see Memphis is almost getting a full inch of rain here by Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock. San Antonio is basically about there. Much of the country is very dry, though. It's just really that track along this tropical storm down here that's being sucked up by that high pressure. And this is taking it through Thursday. You can see it just increasing, going up. We're not seeing a lot of rainfall here, maybe a very small fraction of an inch. For tonight here in the United States, 55 in San Antonio. Again, these blues up here indicating 30s and even 40s. Let's take a look at the East Coast as well. 53 in Washington, D.C. Getting warmer down in our neck of the woods here. 56 in Tallahassee. 73 in Miami. Very warm down there. That sounds nice. I'd like to take a trip down to that tonight. And for tomorrow, 69 in Atlanta, 83 in Tallahassee. Very warm for homecoming festivities. Of course, we have recess tomorrow and then powwow again like we've talked about. So a lot of good things. Now, Braden, let's talk about even more.
You know, we are going to talk about more. We're going to zoom into Tallahassee a little bit. Got a taste of what's going on in the nation, a lot of moisture. We're staying dry, but only for the rest of the day. Tomorrow, expect those rain showers, temperatures cooling after that, which is going to be nice. Homecoming game is going to be very nice, as we've already talked about. You may see just a little rain on your way home from the game, but other than that, going to be looking nice. Thursday, just expect that 20% chance of rain tomorrow, some isolated showers, and cooler on Friday. That high temperature, only 67 degrees as opposed to 83 tomorrow. So we are going to be seeing that cool down, but right now, sitting in the mid to upper 70s, cool spot right here, Quincy in the upper 60s right now, but 77 out in Monticello, 73 in Tallahassee, 73 out in Bainbridge. So it is looking nice. Let's hope it stays that way. So winds really starting to calm down. We saw a nice little clockwise flow before, but kind of just dissipating just a little bit. Really winds calming down. St. Mark's, you got a 5-mile-an-hour wind. Down here in Apalachicola, you also do. But those winds, as the time goes on, will continue to make its way down also. Satellite and radar showing some high clouds making our way into the area, but nothing really in the way of rain, especially in Thomasville. You guys got some decent clouds today, under a decent amount of cloud cover right now. So you might actually be a little warmer tonight than we had anticipated. But as we zoom out, again, you can see all this moisture, stationary front, really sucking in all that moisture, all that energy from the remnants of Vance, which made its way into Mexico. We'll talk a little more about that in our tropical segment, but really just clouds and rain enveloping the southeast and the southern plains. So expect that big picture, high pressure in control and really steering our flow, bringing in that moisture, which is going to increase the rain chances as that cold front continues to move through. Expect some drizzle tomorrow, 20% chance of rain, but maybe you'll see a shower, you might not, but we won't go too deep into that. Cold front will move through, and Friday afternoon, remember, powwow with Keenan Thompson. It really is the highlight of homecoming is powwow right before the homecoming game, so we do hope you get out there and enjoy that. It's going to be loads of fun, funny guys, and just an overall great day. 54 for your night tonight. Mild, a little nippy, south-southeast wind at about 5 miles an hour. But as we go into tomorrow, a chance of showers, 83 degrees. Renegade recess, we are always talking about it, but you know homecoming is one of the greatest times of the year to go out and have some fun. So go out, check out Renegade recess. We'll keep talking about it throughout the rest of the newscast because we really want you to enjoy your experience at Florida State University, and this is one of the best ways to do it. So as we go into the next 7 days, check out Thursday, that 20% chance of rain. This is what I was talking about right here, this 10% chance of rain in the evening after the game. But as you go into the rest of the week, cool down. But once you get to your Veterans Day, we are going to be looking at some wonderful temperatures. So I know Donovan and Jake have some more information for us about homecoming, about what we're up to.
Well, we're actually going to talk on homecoming in just a little bit. But for now, you know, Donovan, when temperatures are going to be dropping a little bit, but and it's wintertime, so there are a lot of mistakes that people will make when temperatures drop, right?
That's right. We were just talking about nationally. They're seeing 30 degrees at this hour in parts of the north. One particular one that I've heard of is pouring hot water over your windshield when it's frosted. Now, why do you not do that?
The change in temperature, the glass basically expands too quickly, and then you can have your windshield crack if the temperature difference is too great. So you don't want to go, especially if it's real cold outside, don't want to pour hot water on there.
Absolutely not. It's better to get out there and scrape that off. Now, another one I've heard of is when it's getting this cold is really turning up that thermostat to try and heat your house. Why don't you do that?
That will not change the rate at which your house warms. It'll just keep going to that temperature. So, you know, things like that can really save you money on your electric bill. But let's take it back to Florida once again, where things are not quite as not quite that cold just yet. We're not seeing temperatures at lows anyway in the 30s to 20s, not quite yet. It's getting there, but right now, currently around Florida, things are about the mid-70s all around the board. We see some cloud cover in Tallahassee, and all across the Panhandle, really, we see mid-70s, and this is going to be the story actually to warm up a little bit tomorrow. And we have mentioned that high pressure off towards the east, steering this onshore flow, actually causing a few rain showers in some of these regions. Miami seeing a few pop-up showers. Along the coast here, we can just expect to see, even in Jacksonville, seeing a few the onshore flow bringing moisture and creating the showers from that high pressure, which will be moving off into the next few days. But relative humidity, once again, a pretty good look at the moisture coming onshore. 93% in Jacksonville right now, down here in Miami, 71%. And over there in Pensacola, as we move closer towards the stalled front right now, with all that moisture, things are 84%. So humidity's coming from all sides, it seems, towards Tallahassee. But here's a good look at the cloud really starting to develop over towards the west. You can see the precipitation, that's the green on the screen, right up there in the corner. But moving towards the east, a few pop-up showers, like I mentioned, Jacksonville and Miami seeing it, with the cloud cover really starting to develop and move eastward towards the Panhandle of Florida. And this is a better look at the Jacksonville situation right now. Nothing serious, just some, like I said, onshore moisture providing some precipitation as the rain showers move on, or as the moisture moves on, but nothing too severe to talk about. Down in Miami, same story. They're probably used to this kind of thing, especially when the temperatures are warmer and we have high pressure like this steering this onshore flow. It's pretty common. Some pop-up showers right now, nothing too severe to comment about, especially when you consider off towards the west. But Central Florida's pretty clear, nothing really going on precipitation-wise. And here in the Big Bend, same story. We have a few pop-up showers over there towards the west near Perry and Valdosta, but Capital City is not seeing a whole lot. So nothing to report just yet as this front continues to move through. But for tonight's forecast, things are going to be in the mid-50s, so still pretty warm. move on down south, things warm up as we would expect. But right now, 56 is what we have for the low tonight in Tallahassee. All the way down to Miami, 73 is the low, and in Jacksonville, 58. So a little cooler over there in Jacksonville as they're dealing with the moisture like they are right now. For tomorrow, things are going to be warming up. A little bit warmer than we've been expecting, really. 85 degrees Orlando, 83 Tallahassee, some mid-80s around the board. Actually looking pretty general across the panhandle when you consider what we're used to seeing. So that will be the situation going on into the next few days. But for now, we're going to spread things out and talk about the tropics with Braden. Braden, what can you tell us?
Well, yeah, Jake, and November, getting to the middle of November now, getting right toward the end of the beginning of November. Remember wait, what is that phrase? You know what? Let's just go into your tropical update, because I don't remember it right now. But storm names, basically nothing much has changed. This has actually not been updated. We have gotten all the way down to Hannah, which was Gonzalo was a Category 4 hurricane. Hannah, just a tropical storm. We will make sure we get that updated for you next time we set this up. But with your hurricane climatology, really, we still have a chance for storms, especially forming into the Caribbean, moving over Cuba, making their way out into the Atlantic. But, it just takes one storm to really make a different motion, make its way up into our region. So we want to be sure we're careful, especially till the end of hurricane season. But even after that, we want to make sure that you are safe, and we will continue to monitor out into the Caribbean. You can see just up to the north, that's all the moisture we've been talking about, those remnants of vents out into Mexico. But as far as actually into the Caribbean, nothing organized, just some scattered clouds, a little bit of rain, but not too much to speak of as we go into the Atlantic. This we are watching, and we're not watching it too much. It has about a 20% chance to develop over the next 48 hours and a 20% chance to develop over the next 5 days. But as it does, it's really just going to drift north and get caught in that subtropical high and shoot its way back east. So we're not too worried about it. We'll look for it for development. May see our next named storm, but not going to affect the U.S. mainland. So let's go ahead and get into your current conditions. 73 in Tallahassee, back in the tri-state area. 72 out in Valdosta. 65 in Macon. Usually you're seeing suns on this graphic, but you do see the moons via the time change on Sunday, so it is starting to get dark. Sunset already occurred in Tallahassee, so make sure that you are cautious with that. The sun is starting to set earlier, so make sure you are taking the correct actions there. But as we look at your satellite and radar, again, with the moisture, just clouds just completely enveloping the region. Rain to our west will start making its way our way into tomorrow and Saturday for your game day. Just some moisture bringing some scattered showers. But really the clouds is what we're going to talk about tonight and into tomorrow before that rain moves in. Going to really be keeping our temperatures at a decent range. So here's your futurecast over the next couple days with your temperatures. This is tonight at 71 out in Tallahassee, low 70s across the board, a couple upper 60s. But as we get into tomorrow morning, really not too cold, 61 out in Tallahassee. I think it might be a little cooler. Computer models going a little warmer than I'm expecting. But as we go into Thursday afternoon, getting up into 78, I'm thinking about 80, 82. But as we get into Thursday night, you can see that cold air making its way down. 40 out in Tallahassee, a little cool, 37 Albany, 38 in Dothan, 34 out into Montgomery. And as we get into Friday night, 50s. And as we go on right now, 73 in Tallahassee, mostly cloudy skies. So we'll go ahead and send it back to the desk. They have one more story before your final local.
That's right. Thanks, Braden. Yeah, you were just talking about the tropics. We actually have a sort of tropical update as well. There is a storm heading towards Alaska that could be a record-setting storm. Isn't that right?
Oh, yeah. The remnants of Typhoon Nuri making its way towards Alaska right now, the remnants of this storm. So it's going to possibly produce a very, very powerful non-tropical system from the remnants of this tropical system. So.
That's right, and the record that it could set is the pressures as low as 920 to 924 millibars, and they were saying, as a reference, Hurricane Andrew was just 922 millibars, so that's pretty low, and this is getting really close to that.
When the winds when the pressure drops that much, you can really see the winds start to pick up in those situations, so people need to stay, on top of that as the system moves through. But that's all we really have right now. Let's take it back to the local, all right?
Yeah, let's keep talking about Tallahassee. Currently here in the capital city, we're at 73 degrees. That sun has set by now, and you're seeing some clouds out there around that moon possibly. The dew point is staying relatively low, 57 degrees. It is sort of humid outside, 57%. It's very calm though, not a lot of winds, so it's looking like a pretty nice night here, pretty seasonal night here in Tallahassee. And currently around the Big Bend, 78 down there in St. Mark's, very warm. Up there in Georgia, they're also in the lower 70s like we are. Monticello at 71, and then as you move further south, actually around 71 and even into the lower 60s. Now these are our dew points here. This is just an indication of how humid it is. Again, Tallahassee is 57 degrees, St. Mark's 58. A little bit higher down there on the coast, and that's pretty well expected for that area. They're probably feeling a little bit more muggy, but they do get those nice winds off of the Gulf, so you can't feel too bad for them. This is what's going on in the atmosphere above our region. You see some clouds moving through, and this is just as it's getting darker as well here at 6 p.m. But not a bad day out there all throughout the day. We saw a lot of sunshine. It was pretty warm, no precipitation, so it was a very nice day. However, we don't expect that no precipitation to last much longer. We'll talk about that more in just a second. Now here's the big picture. We've talked about this a couple of times already tonight. We already have this high pressure bringing in some winds, but this is really the story here. It's that cold front moving through tomorrow and creating some possible drizzle. That high pressure is what's been sucking in all of that bad stuff from Tropical Storm Vance and could be bringing it our way. Again, Friday though, we're going to have a nice day. Not a lot going on out there with powwow. Should be fitting weather. That will be in the Civic Center. Be sure to get out and check that out. Now, if you're lucky to get on the beach tomorrow, this is what you can expect. 10 to 15 miles per hour. It's a little windy out there. The surf about 1 to 2 feet. You probably want to sit under an umbrella as that UV index is pretty high. They're calling for extreme, so sunscreen and sitting under maybe an umbrella, it's going to be nice. That water temperature 82 degrees. Now, if you're out on your boat for tomorrow, again, that wind will be a little bit high. The waves are pretty calm though. So it's actually a good day to get out there if you can. And for tonight, around the Big Bend, 54 here in Tallahassee. Again, 50s basically across the board, so it's going to be a very mild, calm evening tonight for our area. Now let's talk about what's going to be going on throughout the day tomorrow. Let's break it down by the hour. Once you wake up around breakfast, clear and nice, around 57 degrees, that's pretty comfortable. You might want to wear a long sleeve shirt or something that you can remove as it gets much warmer around lunchtime, 80 degrees, and then 82 for the rest of the day. You don't want to get sick, so make sure whatever you're wearing to keep you warm can be taken off. And again, let's take one more look at that 7-day forecast. We're looking at our homecoming 7-day forecast here, as Thursday is looking very nice, and then getting into Saturday and through next week, we're actually cooling down a little bit, Jake.
Oh yeah, Donovan, the temperature's going to be dropping once again through the weekend, right in time for the football game. So it's 8 p.m. kickoff, I believe. Or no, 6:30, excuse me, 6:30 p.m. kickoff. We might have some rain chances, right?
We do. We have some slight rain chances, but we expect that to be moving out by the weekend anyway. If we have to sit in the rain for a little while, that's not too bad. That's pretty typical of football, right?
Yeah, but for tonight, I mean, 7 p.m. is the Karaoke for a Cure. This is going to be a chance for people to discuss different diseases and things like that. So head on out for homecoming, but take another look at that 7-day. Things are really cooling down after Friday. Hello's dipping almost into the 30s again there on Saturday, right?
Yeah, they are. It's getting much cooler. You notice that American flag, though, if you want to avoid those cooler temperatures, you can sleep in on Tuesday. We won't have classes, so that's going to be very nice. Of course, you can always check us out on Facebook.com, follow us on Twitter, and watch us anytime at live stream. We've even got an Instagram now, isn't that right?
Oh yeah, we're all over the place. So if you ever want to send us pictures about things, then we'll certainly use them here on the show, especially going into a fabulous week like homecoming, right?
Yeah, we'd love to see some of your homecoming pictures if you can send them in. But for tonight, I'm student meteorologist Donovan Wiseman.
I'm student meteorologist Jake Taylor.
And have a great night.